Okay, so next part, we're going to be putting in some of these waves, some of these features that are here. Yallingup Lagoon. There's a rocky headland that goes out to the south of the Yallingup Lagoon, and then there's these waves that are breaking. So the problem is, if we just put this blue in all over the top, then I might as well not have put those lines in, and those lines are pretty important. They're pretty important. So what I have done, I started to record this once, but I realized my lines weren't quite dark enough. So if you want to increase their intensity so that you can see them a bit more clearly, I did use like a stencil and with charcoal and drew over the top, but then I wiped it off with a paper towel to make it sort of less charcoal floating around. But you may want to increase these lines, the shoreline and the other lines, now that we're starting to fill things in. Okay, so given that you've done that, or else you've got the time to just work through and stop videos and so on. So these are the features that we're going to be putting in. Now, one of the things I'll highlight to you is this, that these waves are just ever so slightly off the horizontal. So if you want to line that one up there, or that one off there, you can see that they are not, they don't have much slope in them. Positive or negative slope. So there's a wave, very flat. There's another one wrapping around into the lagoon a little. There's one there. There's one there. One there. Just a little bit more as it's come around into the lagoon. So these are pretty flat. So I'll have that down here. And I've mixed up some paint. I've used white, and I've got a little bit of some of my residual blue. You can see I'm using a second bowl just to keep things clean. So here are my waves here, and this is my reference drawing. So the rocks are here, and there's a wave breaking out on the end. So there's my rocks finishing there, and you kind of check rocks finishing sandy point, rocks finishing sandy point. That looks about right. That's the sort of right relativity. So I will just zoom in a little so you can see this. Just trying to keep an eye on the image you've got. I am just going to put in a little bit of white here with this brush. So that's that wave there. It's an off-white, of course. We've got a wave that's sort of big and forming out there. I am going to put white there for the moment, but it's really just a white marker. Okay, so I'll get myself a little bit more white. I'm going to mark this one out. And then that one out. I've kind of got a bit of a wonk in that. I can feel my brush is losing paint, so back I go. I'm not doing big kind of bang brushes. I'm just doing sort of little dabby ones. Okay, so now let's just get an idea here. It sort of goes across right over to that edge there. So I believe that's like halfway between the point, the sandy point, and there. So we'll put in something around about here. And then it comes back in that sort of direction. So I have put some waves in on that angle. We're not trying to get it exact, but we are trying to keep a little bit of a reference of where the white water was. And then there's this feature here which sort of goes around like that. So kind of comes here, and then that's one wave and then another wave wrapping around into that past the lagoon. Okay, so I think that is quite important. I could easily just try and thicken up some areas if I wanted to just by putting little additions of paint. But this will be really useful because we'll know how to paint around this and keep this information. Okay, look, that's a good point to finish that. And if I had one little bit I might add on here, it could be, you know, that I could put in some of that brown. Look, I might do that in the next one, but the brown of that rocky point that's coming out here, I might mix that colour and define it so that then I can draw my paint in the bulk of my blues. Okay, so enough in this section.